On July 6, 2018, Chad and Chelsea Moore were hiking along the picturesque cliffs of the Pacific Coast Highway, enjoying the stunning ocean views and the invigorating coastal breeze. Little did they know, their peaceful hike would turn into a life-saving mission. As they navigated the rugged terrain, their eyes were drawn to a glint of metal far below. Partially obscured by the jagged rocks and crashing waves, what they saw was the wreckage of a Jeep Patriot, a sight that sent chills down their spines. The Moores quickly realized that someone might be in desperate need of help. Earlier that week, on July 5, 2018, Angela Hernandez was filled with excitement and anticipation as she embarked on a road trip from Portland, Oregon, to Southern California. The Pacific Coast Highway, with its stunning ocean views and rugged cliffs, promised an unforgettable journey. Angela's Jeep Patriot cruised smoothly along the winding roads, the Pacific Ocean glittering in the sunlight to her right, and the majestic cliffs rising to her left. The serene beauty of the coastline brought a sense of peace and adventure. Angela was a lover of nature and had always found solace in the great outdoors. This trip was not just a journey from one place to another. It was a much-needed escape. A chance to clear her mind and find herself amidst the chaos of everyday life. As she drove, she played her favorite songs, singing along with the windows down. The salty breeze from the ocean mingling with her laughter. The road ahead seemed like a promise of freedom, each mile marker a step closer to a new beginning. As she navigated the scenic route, the unexpected happened in a split second. A deer darted onto the road ahead. Angela's instincts took over. She swerved sharply to avoid the animal. Her Jeep skidded on the loose gravel. The tires lost traction, and in a heart-stopping moment, the vehicle veered off the road. Angela felt a terrifying weightlessness as her car plunged over the edge of the cliff, tumbling 250 feet down the steep, rocky slope. The Jeep landed with a violent crash on the jagged rocks below, partially submerged in the cold, churning waves of the Pacific Ocean. The impact was catastrophic, miraculously. Angela was alive, but she was far from unscathed. Her body was battered and broken, a brain hemorrhage, fractured ribs, a broken collarbone, a collapsed lung, and ruptured blood vessels in both eyes. Angela found herself on a narrow strip of beach, hemmed in by the towering cliffs on one side and the relentless ocean on the other. The realization of her dire situation set in. She was injured, alone, and with no way to call for help. Her phone was lost in the wreckage, and the isolated location meant she was far from any immediate rescue. For Angela, those first few moments after the crash were a blur of pain and confusion. The world spun around her, and she struggled to comprehend what had happened. The roar of the ocean was deafening, and the sun beat down mercilessly. But amidst the chaos, a primal instinct to survive took hold. She assessed her injuries, wincing with every movement. Each breath was a laborious task, sending sharp pains through her chest. The days that followed tested Angela's endurance and willpower to their limits. She had to find ways to survive with her limited resources. The wrecked car became her lifeline. She used water from the radiator hose to stay hydrated. A risky but necessary measure. She rationed the scant food supplies she had with her. Mindful that help might not come for days, the elements were unforgiving. The sun blazed down during the day, and the temperature plummeted at night. Angela found small crevices in the rocks to shelter from the wind and waves. Each day, Angela clung to hope. Fighting through the pain and fatigue, she listened to the sound of the waves crashing against the rocks, hoping to hear the distant hum of a boat engine or the voices of passing hikers. Her body weakened, but her spirit remained unbroken. She refused to succumb to despair, driven by the determination to see her family again and share her story of survival. On the first day, Angela's initial attempts to move were excruciating. Every step was a test of willpower, her body protesting with each movement. She managed to find a relatively dry spot near the wreckage where she could rest and assess her surroundings. The beach was isolated, surrounded by imposing cliffs that seemed insurmountable in her weakened state. The vast ocean stretched out before her, both beautiful and terrifying in its enormity. As the sun set on that first night, Angela faced the reality of her situation. The temperature dropped rapidly, and she shivered uncontrollably. She scavenged what she could from her vehicle, finding a few items of clothing and a blanket that provided minimal warmth. The sounds of the night were eerie, the crash of the waves mingling with the distant calls of nocturnal creatures. Angela tried to sleep, but the pain and fear kept her awake for most of the night. The following days blurred into a routine of survival. Angela's injuries made every task a struggle, Drinking water from the radiator hose was a desperate measure, but it was her only source of hydration. She tried to ration the few food items she had, a granola bar, some crackers, but the constant hunger gnawed at her. Despite the pain, she forced herself to move around as much as possible, hoping to find something that could help her. She gathered driftwood and other debris to create a signal fire, hoping the smoke would attract attention. Each day, Angela felt her strength waning. The isolation was crushing, the silence interrupted only by the relentless waves and the occasional bird. She spent hours staring up at the cliffs, wondering if anyone would ever find her. The thought of her family kept her going. She imagined their faces, their voices, and the life she was determined to return to. She knew she had to survive, not just for herself, but for them. On July 13th, Angela's prayers were answered. Chad and Chelsea Moore, a couple hiking along the cliffs, noticed something unusual far below. They saw the wreckage of her Jeep and, upon closer inspection, Angela herself. She was waving frantically, a tiny figure against the vast, rugged landscape. The couple quickly realized the gravity of the situation and called for help. Rescue teams were dispatched immediately. They navigated the treacherous terrain and reached Angela, who was weak but incredibly relieved. She was airlifted to a hospital, where she received the medical attention she so desperately needed. The hospital staff were astounded by her story and her resilience. Angela's journey from the edge of death back to life was nothing short of a miracle. During her recovery, Angela reflected on her ordeal. She shared her harrowing experience on social media, expressing deep gratitude to Chad and Chelsea Moore, the rescue teams, and everyone who supported her during her recovery. Her story resonated with people across the nation, inspiring many with her courage and determination. Angela Hernandez's remarkable journey is a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Her survival against overwhelming odds reminds us of the power of hope and the importance of never giving up, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. Her story is a powerful example of resilience and the impact of kindness and support from strangers. It is a tale of survival, determination, and the unyielding will to live, forever etched in the hearts of those who hear it.
Thank you for watching this video. Hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more interesting videos.